Hello everyone and welcome to another video with me, Umber Rays, trying to fix my microphone slightly because it was still kind of bothering me, its positioning. Alright, so today we got some stuff to talk about and gonna start with a couple of mistakes from the last video and some things I wasn't 100% sure about, but now I've got it. So first of all, about our new UR card, the one that I just really do not like the artwork of. That's not part of it, but anyway. Basically for Earth units, increases slash resistance and increases HP as well. Also gives an increase to area resistance as well as increasing HP more, and does give a bonus of TP as well. Yeah, this vision card, I still haven't changed my opinion on it. I'm still not super crazy about it. Maybe it's just bananas and nuts, but I don't know. I'm just not a big fan of it. Anyway, continuing on. The other vision card, our coral vision card, does increase in agility. I think it's supposed to be about 12% max, which is pretty nice. It says 11%, but I don't know. The data mine was slightly different and said that it was around 12. Also increases lightning resistance, dexterity, and not only that, acquired AP. I think this card is pretty solid for being a lower tier card. I actually do like it. Now, alright, there was also one other thing to note, to do with some equipment actually in Wotv. So let's take a quick look at it over here. The equipment that I'm talking about is some of the fancy equipment that you end up getting for doing, live PvP, or, potentially getting the Hermes sandals, or what is it, the healing rod, I wanted to say, the Sage's rod. Yeah, Sage's staff, that's what it is. These three items have been improved on the JP side. So now you do get a slightly bigger bonus for getting them to a +5. I guess they're trying to increase the value of actually doing these things, because I guess whales are not interested in doing it. Okay. Taking a look at the Sage staff, first of all, increase accuracy and increase magic attack. Taking a look next up at the platinum armor, 10 for attack resistance and 10% for strike resistance. Okay, all right. And the last one to talk about is the Hermes sandals. Hermes sandals are now a fair amount. Immobilized resistance, as well as acquired AP and some evasion on them now. So overall, these three items have been improved. I still think that they should probably be made much easier to get, but I don't know, just end-game content and content for them to put on characters so that they seem way better, I guess, those +5s, but I still feel like it's way too much. All right, now that that's been all said and done, let's talk about the units before we look at the tower as our final bit. All right, so we have three characters that we need to talk about today. First of all is Frederick. Frederick has gotten her EX, and as you can see, I have decided that I'm just going to go for it. Taking a look at Fred's stats, overall, big thing that she seems to get is a really nice attack boost. Her attack goes up to now a maxed out EX job 177. Matter of fact, like Fred's stats get a generally nice improvement for the most part. Except maybe for, HP, but whatever, range, right? Taking a look at her, I think that her stats are generally pretty nice. Looking at skills-wise, what we got for improvement, well, I'm actually going to show it since I can this time. Head up here, so we have three new improvements, starting off with one of her support abilities. This is the increase range by 2 and decrease evasion rate for herself. Now it has increased missile resistance penetration by a total of 40, which is really, really nice. I feel like a lot of units are starting to get more resistance, and tanks are getting more resistance. So this kind of counters that pretty nicely, and I think ends up being a pretty nice little boost for her. And the range +2 one seems to be a pretty common, way to build this unit. So I think this is a good improvement for Fred. From there, we have two other abilities, one old and one new. Alright, so her ability that had a 165% modifier on it, critical chance of 35%, and a 100% chance to knock a target back by 1 square, has now been increased. Same amount of uses, same amount of AP cost, but now it also breaks physical barriers, which, you know, again, is becoming more of a common thing, so it keeps Frederica being more relevant. Her new ability, however, I think is probably the most interesting. It's 165% modifier on it, 3 uses, 22 AP, good range on it. And last but not least, increases her defense penetration by 40 for 3 turns. And also something to note about this ability is that sorry, my brain just kind of went blank for a second there. Is that it increases the defense penetration before it acts. Also, there was an improvement on her ability that I do believe she also has better height to her attack, which is something that has been a constant thing that I'm not super happy about with gunners as opposed to archers, because just having that height issue is kind of a problem. Overall, though, I think Frederica actually ended up with a really solid EX. I'm actually kind of a big fan of this. I actually do like it. So that's why I ended up just going for getting Frederica here. And yeah, I think that pretty happy with it overall, which is kind of surprising. I still think that later ones like Niv, when they get their EX, will probably beat her by a fair bit. Because again, just newer kit, newer job. But for now, it's fine. All right, taking a look at our next character is one that I think everybody, I'm floating out of frame here. One that I think has become one of the more, common units for a lot of people, because obviously healer, like even a year later, there just aren't a ton of healers in the game. So now we have Ayaka getting her improvements. Taking a look, some more HP, some more AP, some more attack, some more magic. Her magic stat actually gets a nice boost up to a max of 195, which is pretty good. Dexterity gets increased a little bit. Agility, of course, stays the same. And luck gets a little. Overall, her EX boost is pretty good. I think like that magic increase just makes Ayaka much, stronger than she used to be. All right, now taking a look at what abilities got improved, and I have not EX'd mine yet. Still not entirely convinced I should, but I'll talk about that in a second. All right, taking a look at her support abilities, first of all, Saint's March, the one that nullifies Doom, now has an increase of healing power by 20 for itself. I think that this is a good increase overall. Not that Doom is super common or is like a huge problem, but with that healing increase, since Ayaka's main job is the healer, this does affect pretty much the base, like the main part and the base part of her kit. Her limit burst, everything, like anything that is healing on it, this just gets improved. So I think that this is a solid support skill and one that she probably ended up needing, and I think it's a good one. All right. Taking a look at her upgrade ability, and this one's really interesting. So one of her healing abilities, Curaga, actually got improved. I mean, it's still AoE. I think it's same cost, same amount of uses. The healing hasn't been increased except probably, for her support. But the base spell is still the same. What is interesting is that it also restores AP now, a total of 10 AP max. So basically, if you have this ability up to max, you're going to get like 10 AP given, potentially AoE too, since Curaga is a AoE ability. Not only are you healing that, but giving some AP back to physical units seems really good. Not a lot, but even a little bit can make a difference in a fight. And her newest ability, this one at job level 25, is an increase in defense penetration for a unit by 30 for 3 turns. But that's not all. It actually gives them the ability as well for their attacks to absorb part of the damage done for 3 turns. This is actually surprising because I was not expecting to see quite such an improvement to an ability. This ability feels really big. I mean, it's TP, first of all. You can use it 3 times, but 30 defense penetration on top of what, units already have is a good increase. But absorbing 20% of the damage as well, like, this is a textbook case of just a really good support ability. It still enables healing. It enables healing on multiple fronts. It ups damage penetration. Like, Ayaka is kind of still the only real, you know, healer in the game, pure healer, it feels like, of the UR quality that isn't like a limited unit or something. So I have to say that I'm actually just really considering even EXing Ayaka for this job level 25 ability. Basically, Ayaka seems like she is where Yuna seems like an enabler for magic teams. I feel like Ayaka is the healer for physical teams, and I have to say that I'm actually impressed by how good of an increase Ayaka got, because, like, obviously, having Yuna, she is an incredible healer and she does a really good job of it while dishing out damage. But Ayaka definitely ain't no slouch either. So it's going to be tough to say that Ayaka shouldn't be just a mandatory EX. There could be a new healer coming in the future, but whether or not that healer's limited is a question mark at this point. So yeah, I still think that this is really, really strong. Unless there's a new job to replace White Mage, probably going to be a solid increase for Ayaka fans out, and an impressive one. And last but not least, we have Murmur getting her increase as well, going up for EX. Taking a look at the increase, not as big. Basically, her magic stat goes up roughly to about where Ayaka's is with her EX, but that's, I feel, is like generally less impressive because she feels a little more brittle. Taking a look at her abilities that she gets increased. So one of her abilities, I think it's like Stonera, gets a bit of an improvement to now be a debuffer as well, and that this could turn out to be really good because this is an AoE ability. It already has a 141% modifier. She's got a good magic stat to dish out damage. But now she's decreasing attack, magic, and agility. Attack and magic are getting decreased, maxed out by 40% roughly for 3 turns, which is pretty good, but also a 25% decrease to agility. It's a pretty good, I think. All right, second ability to get increased, another magic ability. This is the one that hits, I think, only has like 2 spaces in front of her. 144% piercing ability now also decreases defense and spirit. Interestingly, defense by 30 and spirit by 38 for 3 turns. A solid little ability, but the shortness of the range might make it a little bit difficult to get this ability in. Still, it's the debuffs are kind of nice and gives this unit maybe a potential new lease on life with something new that can be done. And her newest ability, Song Yao, 185% modifier, good range on it, 3 uses, 34 AP, and decreases earth resistance by 40% for 3 turns for targets. So, if you have Alf and if you have the new girl rule, this might be a solid build to get to EX, just because you're all in on earth magic. You might as well give an earth magic debuffer too and get all of that bonus. Do I think her stats will be incredible? No, but that's part of the draw of getting like a cheaper character, that the stats are a little bit lower. But hey, maybe she can still dish out really good damage with some. Has some good debuffs anyway. All right, so that's it for the new units. I think a solid, probably one of my more favorite batches of EX units, not for like older units. I think this is probably the best batch I've seen. So, if nothing else, Ayaka is super interesting. But I went into the wrong screen. That's a bit dumb. We're going to take a quick look at Tower 41 through 50 just to see what is brand new. The reward for doing this is the Fire Ring, which is basically, a fire ring like the other ones, the Water and the Light Ring at this point. nothing super like unexpected about this ring at this point. It's basically what you see is what you get. It does have immobilized resistance on it as opposed to the other rings. I can't remember exactly what they have, but that's the difference, I think, between the fire. All right, so taking a look, these are floor 41, where we have a ice stage. Next up, light, followed by level 80 is or 43 is fire. Then 44, we have water. Notable units, glassy is going to be there, as well as sever. Oh god, bad memories from before. Here we have cactars, and I'm going to make a note about this stage a little bit later, but a couple of dragons, and yeah, cactars are a big note. Next we have a wind stage with some gill snappers on it, followed by a earth elemental stage. You'll notice the ketone is there, and Durando. Gotta be a little careful probably there. Darkness here, we got, this feels like it's probably going to be an invade stage. 49 is a lightning stage with two range units, or two named range units, as well as Ramu. And floor 50, ice with Gilgamesh and Christmas. Hey, look, a limited unit. Christmas Victoria is also here as a water archer, potentially put a bit of a curb on just bringing fire units. Also, Shiva being there. So yeah, King or Lord Mont is probably the most important unit for these series, which makes sense a little bit seeing as it is the fire ring. And for anybody curious, the EX stage is a combination Bahamut as well as the twin-headed dragon in unison, trying to fight both of those units. So best of luck to everybody taking that on. From what I've heard, even though I haven't done it yet, there's a couple of floors that were supposedly problematic for some of my guildmates. If I remember correctly, 42, I don't exactly remember why, I just heard to be careful on that. 45, something to note is that the cactars actually can just deal from the beginning of the stage, the just hit for 10,000 damage, doesn't matter what kind of defense, what kind of armor you have on. So that is something to note. You might want to prioritize killing those guys before they kill you. And I've heard that floors 48, 49, and 50 are just really tough. Given the unit lineup, I'm not entirely surprised. I'm guessing 48 is probably very based on evasion, so sure hit units such as Yuna and Sakura probably are going to do really well here. Taking a look at this, well, I mean, it's the new Earth Elemental mages probably that get a big advantage here. So that might be a little tough. And floor 50, well, it's the last stage and obviously a big bonus here. So you might just need to take multiple cracks at it. But there you go. There's a brief look at floors 41 through 50. Obviously, I haven't done anything because I've been doing other things for the last little bit. But I still have 14 days, so I'm feeling okay. So anyway, that's a brief tour through some of the stuff, and 7 more days till the end of January. I'm curious to see what, if anything, will be next for Wotv, whether they're going to wait until February for the next group of units. I wonder if there'll be Valentine's Day units. Of course there will be. Anyway, thank you very much for watching. Take care and see you next time.